Trump is heading into the NATO summit as a peacemaker after he brokered a ceasefire between Israel, Iran, and the U.S. And he's poised to pocket a big win as the alliance agrees to his demand to double its defense spending. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor is live with the very latest for us from the White House. Rebecca.
Alex, earlier this morning, it seemed like the ceasefire that President Trump helped to negotiate was at risk of falling apart. But before heading to the NATO summit, President Trump was making calls to try to keep it in place.
These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous.
President Trump left Washington early this morning, capping off a dramatic 48 hours of military action and diplomacy that ended in a ceasefire between Iran, Israel, and the U.S. But after it took effect, Iran launched one missile, and Israel responded with more airstrikes. President Trump immediately called Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who agreed to scale back the attack, and the ceasefire seems to be back in place.
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back.
NATO allies will surely discuss the situation in Iran, but the president's main goal this week is to secure a 5% defense spending pledge from NATO countries.
Allied leaders will take bold decisions to strengthen our collective defense.
But some experts see the 5% pledge as unrealistic because a lot of countries won't be able to afford it.
In some ways, it's a mythical number put forth by Trump.
The war in Ukraine is expected to take a back seat this week, even though Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be attending some NATO events. NATO allies agree Russia continues to pose the greatest threat to Europe.
The source of this war and the long-term threat to the European way of life is Russia.
President Trump is reportedly scheduled to meet with President Zelensky while in the Netherlands. This would be their first sit-down since that explosive Oval Office meeting in February. Alex?
A lot to keep our eyes on, Rebecca. Thank you for that. A significant win for the Trump administration as the Supreme Court rules the president can continue deporting migrants to third countries. That's a country that isn't the person's original birthplace. The decision pauses a lower court ruling from a Boston judge back in May. He ruled the government's actions lacked due process violation and violated the Constitution. The White House vowed to fight the decision.
President Trump promised to get vicious, illegal alien murderers, rapists, and pedophiles like these out of our country. These judicial activists want to unilaterally stop President Trump from deporting foreign terrorists and keeping the American people safe. We hope the Supreme Court will continue to rein this in as soon as possible to restore proper constitutional order in our country.
The Justice Department says the government is now considering its next steps. We are